Yeah, hated to cut you off there from that Cantina song way up on where the heck was that again? What what planet? Oh man, that's such a big part of uh, pop culture. I can't even remember. Wasn't the only thing that's running through my head is Hoth. Oh, Tatooine. Yeah, that's what it was. So anyhow, you're listening to KBFT 89.9 FM right here in beautiful Nett Lake. And we are getting ready here to bring you the Karen Drift Anishinaabemoin radio show. Yeah, it's a show where we share with you uh, our language, Anishinaabemoin, and we also share a bit of history, some recent history as far as our community goes here in asabikone, zaagi'igining. That's how you would say Nett Lake. And then we usually begin with our introduction. So I'm going to do my introduction and then we'll go with Aunty Karen will introduce herself and then she usually addresses whatever is the topic of on her mind. So let me see here. I'm trying to get to my. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll start off with my introduction. Mushkubanes, indigenous cause, Redbird is what they call me, and by they I mean the spirits. And I'm sorry, Magizi, Nindundame. The eagle is my clan, and Onanami Zaagi'igining in Dunjaba. I am from the Lake Vermilion area, and what else am I missing?
Age.
Oh. Nanamidana, Nanan, Ashi Bibunigiz. No, just Bibunigiz.
Yeah.
Ni Bibunigiz, I'm sorry. So I am 55 winters old, and I'm going to pass it on over to Auntie here. She's going to do her introduction.
Minogizeb Kinago. Good morning, all. Dukumis indigenous cause. Minogizagat Nungum. Nice day today. Ligo Niki Kiduan. Kinago Oma. Niki Gigido. Have a lot to talk about. Nungum. That means today. And first, I think, got a dry throat. Koe niki minik away niki minik koe ni bisheba. I just made some tea, I said this morning. And well, yesterday was a Mana and Bijinago. I was sad yesterday. My good friend Ogi Giwe, he went home to his relatives and been away Malkana Kamino Omaman. He was close to his mother. Asia Mabik Ojinakazo Omama. That was her name, Asia Mabik. But yeah, I went to his funeral yesterday and talked. I know he wasn't there, but he was there in Seoul, but I talked to him yesterday in Anishinaabemoin. We had a name for each other. He called me Dimuesh, and then I called him Kawajish. And I talked to him in our language, and I told him, "Wewe ni kita majan." I said, "Go, giggle. I told him, "Don't look back. Keep going straight." Kido, Kido, Misinobi. Yeah, we were friends all our lives. He was best friends with my husband. They grew up together since childhood. And that's what I used to say when we were kids. He used to run home and he'd call his mom, Asia Mabik, they called her. He'd say, Mama, Kweshagun bimide. That means bread and lard. Because then as they grew up and went to school, they were together all, like brothers. When we moved to Princeton, he came with us. He got a job there. Plus, he would be the babysitter when we both had to work. I worked at Finger Hut down there at night, and we didn't have a car, so he would Lester worked days and I worked nights, and then he would babysit while I got some sleep, and the kids were just like I was their uncle. So they were little when he was around us. It's kind of like followed us all over till him and Lester went to school in UMD. They enrolled together, and they finished, and then after they went separate ways, and after he got married, and then but they were still friends after, you know. But he was one I could speak the language to, and sometimes he wouldn't speak it back. So on April 1st, his birthday was April 10th, same day as my cousin Gillig. But Perry got us on tape talking the language down at the ENP, and so that's the last tape that I think we have of Misinobi tongue. I can't even remember what we were talking about the food down there in Indian, and he was talking. I said, "No, talk Indian back to me." I said, and um, Perry was going to send it to George so George could play it on the radio. So I don't know if Perry did yet. He's been pretty busy. Oginong onanami zaagi'igining. He's working in Tower today. But yeah, I got that was what I wanted to talk about, and I said we have to let him go, and that's what they used to tell us. If you cry, cry, bad. They said that'll hold them back. They won't want to go because they see how sad you are. So they won't want to travel, go, and you'll keep them from doing their journey. That's what they used to tell us. But I know people can't help but grieve, and cry and that. But that's another one thing they used. They had a nice midday funeral. The only people that could dance through that is the people that went through midday. There was only two people that were dancing. I couldn't even get up and stand. My legs were bothering me yesterday. So I just sat. Otherwise I should have been up there dancing for him, but I wasn't. But I did there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that people ask me when I'm when I'm home. I talked about the dandelions. Uh, I got up at 7 o'clock, I think it was, and there was no dandelions out yet. I said, dandelions, 9 o'clock. Geeks 9 o'clock. They woke up. Jean Gasui de Blaganek. That's 9 o'clock. That's when the dandelions come out. But earlier in the morning, I said, Kaya binibog dandelions. Bijinago. They were bright yellow. Kaya binibog. I said, they're still sleeping. Bijinago is yesterday. Yesterday they were a bright color. And then we talked about, I thanked, I said, Miigwech, George Strong, Jay Strong, Perry Drift, Chaz Wagner, Squidge Morrison, and whoever else is helping us to get our language and culture back on our res. If we keep talking to people will be zindan. Listen, be zindan, nukumis. And that's what I thank them. Nobody ever gives thanks around here. So then I put on there Nigabi Inung Nudin. And that means west wind. Nigabi Inung Nudin. Nungum, west wind today. Then I put on there Nijwaswe Simbadana Bejik. That's 70. Nijwaswe Simbadana is 70. And I put 70 Bejik. Nijwaswe Simbadana Bejik. That's 71. Gijate. West wind today. 71 degrees. Minogishagat. Have a nice day. Like if it was 80, but you'd use a different word. Like if it was 100 degrees, you'd use Ingudak, Ingudok, Gujate, 100 degrees. You can, like north wind, you can put, Giwedin, no, Giwedin, Nudin, that's north wind. South wind, Jawane, Nudin, south wind. You can just put all them together to make the. Then I also, somebody was asking me, they said, we can talk now, we can ask questions, and maybe that'll bring us closer to our language if we ask elders questions. There's a lot of people here in Marcella, Mary Bell, Heart Warrior. They're, it's just that they don't really know the language, they know some. Probably Marcella, should her parents were fluent, so are Mary Bell's. Rosaline, she's fluent, I think but I never talk with her hardly anymore. Mavis, she knows a lot. Shirley, they were brought up in talking in Indian talking homes, and that's what I said. They should have an Indian consultant, to ask people, just don't go right out and do something that you don't know about, and we need. And another good thing, like I have another cop in my family, and that's my kind of a younger grandson, Parker Drift. He'll be starting. He's just going through 3 more weeks of training, and then he'll be a White Earth cop. So We'll have 3 cops in White Earth. The dad and the 2 brothers, you know. And that's what we should have around here, you know. We should have member cops. We got to do things on our own pretty soon, you know, and that's what I always say, you know. We got to do things, and there is some stuff coming back. Like a young mother come and gave me Sama and asked me to teach their boys and girls club. And she gave me tobacco, you know, and she gave me bagichigan. And they asked how it was long ago and now. Little kids can't sit long, but these little kids were just sitting, just still listening. Then I had a visitor. I had me and Perry visited with Dan Ningham. He's from Wisconsin, and he gave me a game. Well, whatever. When I visit with people, other Indians from different, we give them gifts. We gave him some games, and he gave Perry a game. I mean a thing, and then he gave me what they used to call squaw hockey for women. He gave me that, so I have that, and I was going to take it to the school and show them kids how to play that game in the gym. Maybe I'll do that Friday. I don't know. What you know, to show.
Is that something you could just use clay hockey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's everybody uses or they don't use it anymore. They use S. They just say S.
Hockey. Yeah.
Yeah, S hockey or S lake or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the day when my mom and them, that's what they used to just come right out and use squaw hockey. You know, they say that ain't a bad word. You know.
Well, it's
to them it is, but not to me. You know.
Mm.
And that's all I see in my 5 little granddaughters. Oh, how's my 5 little squaws? But you know, I suppose people think, you know, different. But then we had a good talk with this Dan Ningham. Oh, Betnaginusi. Holy, he's tall, I said. He kind of had to duck his head down when he came through my door. And he sat for 1 hour. I mean, he's coming back again here to do games. I don't know when. He said he's in July sometime he's coming, or end of June. I can't remember. I can't remember things unless I write them down. But he's going to show all the games that he did. But there's a picture of me and him in here. Somebody said, "Oh, it looks like you're sitting by a big misabi, a big giant." They said. But he's a nice person. Then another thing I watch, I said, Inhabin, I said, look, Inhabin, Eziga, look, wood ticks are out. Ezigog. And yeah, that's all that happened. And then I got they were talking about what is that? They were talking about mermaids. And I remember a long time ago, there was a story about a mermaid that my grandma used to tell, and we, you know, I suppose, somebody said, did they have blonde hair? No, they said they were Indian mermaids. And they had black hair, and, because she said somebody saw one of the last mermaids back way in her time. I don't know how long. Probably her parents or her grandmothers or great grandmothers saw way back. Mais was a long time ago. Mais was yeah. Nish was so de neck. Nish nisibi gishe. Shitun niki shitun makadem shkiki wabu. Gawi nik nipakade jeba. Bama now quick. Me magisha maybe. Nipakade. Maybe I'll get hungry by noon. Magisha now quick. Maybe by noon that means. Minua. Noah. Minua. Okay, give me one. Again, it's gonna rain. Minua. Give me one. Minua. Minua. Give me one. People say different Sundays, Saturdays. There's a lot of, I always used to hear my mom, my aunt Ruby, and my grandma would say bean chike. That's cleaning day. Saturday. Some say mop day, and others some people say different. Jeba gizibi gizibi jeba gizibi nagane. This morning I washed dishes. See, you see, jeba morning. Gizibi gizibi I washed. Nagane. See, you see a dish there. Nagan. A dish is a nagan. Jeba gizibi nagane. Morning I see that's only jeba gizibi. Jeba gizi nagane. That's only 4 words, but it sounds like that's a whole big sentence. Jabagi ZB Nagane. This morning I washed dishes. ZB is wash. Just the word alone, ZB. Like ZB Ganinji. Wash your hands. Ninja fingers. You wash your ZB is wash. Like take a shower, ZB Gije. You add Gije. See, there's just ZB and then Gije. That's your washing. ZB Ige. ZB Ige. That's washing clothes. ZB Ige. That means Ige is you're hanging them like outside on a line. Ige. Wash, Ige. ZB Ige. Wash clothes. You can go on and on with wash words. Face, hands, everything, wash. But then I was gonna read this book here. I got a book from Nashgibines. He gets books from readers. And the book, Walking Toward the Sacred, Our Great Lakes Tobacco Story. This is about a story about Samoa. I'm gonna read this new book. I don't know how new it was. It was made by Isaiah Broken Leg and Elizabeth Torrens. This is made by them or written by them. And it's I read it already, Nikki Aja. I read it already. According to the elders, there was a time when the people of the earth were not living their lives in a proper manner, and the Creator decided that He was going to do away with them. But the eagle interceded on the human's behalf. The Creator said, as long as there is still one person who lives their life in a correct way with a Sama, the humans would be spared. So each morning, the eagle goes out and flies over the earth to see if we live our lives in a correct way. As long as he sees that Indian people still use their Sama and still use their language and follow the old ways, we will be all right. In the old days, it was easy to see where the Indian people were, but today with houses and buildings, it is not quite so easy. So one of the things we do is put up a spirit pole. This pole lets the spirit world know that we are living our lives in a correct manner with respect. That's why I have a teepee in my backyard. That's why I have my teepee. It's important to do that for everybody. Using the left hand when holding tobacco is encouraged because the left hand is closest to the heart. Based on the traditions of the Anishinaabe elders, the they say this Wenabushu, we say Nanabushu story on our creation of tobacco was shared by Jim Pete, Red Cliff tribal member. Gitchi Merisha Wen Nanabushu Shinikazo Anishinaabe Asama Oma Mino Mino Ezichigewad Gitchi Anishinaabe said a long time ago our uncle Nanabushu, as he is called, gave native people here on earth Sama tobacco. He told them to use it in a good way because we didn't listen and we are not listening to what the Great Spirit Son Nanabushu told us a long time ago about how sacred Sama is because we didn't. Our people have become sick from it and our people are dying from it. Hopefully, one day we'll be able to listen again and our people will be Mino Ayawin, which is good health. That's all I have, except from an interview from Steve Wayne, Lacto Flambo tribal member of the language and culture instructor. That's who wrote that. In Mashkiki medicine, tobacco is the first plant that the Creator gave to the Anishinaabe people. Three other plants, sage, cedar, and sweetgrass, are also held sacred by the people. Together they are referred to as the four sacred medicines, Mishkiki. The four sacred medicines are used to everyday life and in all our ceremonies. All of them can be used to smudge with through sage, cedar, and sweetgrass. They also have many other uses. It is said that tobacco sits in the eastern door, sweetgrass is in the southern door, sage is in the west, and cedar in the north. Elders say that the spirits like the aroma produced when the other sacred medicines are burned. And that's cedar was our first up in here, I know, because that's all our parents and grandparents used that when I was little. That's all I can remember is the smell of cedar. Sacred tobacco, Sama, was given to the Anishinaabe so that we can communicate with the spirit world. Tobacco is always offered before picking other medicines. When you offer tobacco to a plant and explain your reasons for being there, the plant will the plant will let all the other plants in the area know your intentions and why you are picking them. Tobacco is used as an offering, a gift, and it is an important part of the Anishinaabe ceremonies. Yeah, I use all of them. Well, not all of them. I use mainly cedar and sama, then cedar, and I tried that. I did a thing on cedar up here. Showed George how we made powder out of that's new quasican. Burn it on a rock. Sweetgrass is a sacred hair of Mother Earth. Its sweet aroma reminds our people of the gentleness, love, and kindness she has for the people. When sweetgrass is used in a healing circle, it has a calming effect. Like sage and cedar, sweetgrass is used for smudging and purification. Sage is used to prepare our people for ceremonies and teachings because it is more medicine and stronger than sweetgrass. Sage is used more often in ceremonies. Sage is used for releasing what is troubling the mind and for I should have shut that up. Okay, go aside. Because it is sage is used to prepare our people for ceremonies and teachings. Because it is more and stronger than sweetgrass sage. It is used more often in ceremonies. Sage is used for releasing what is troubling the mind and for removing negative energy. It is also used for cleansing homes and in sacred bundles carried by people. It also has other medicine uses. My mom's house used to smell that way all the time. And she lived in Unamani, zaagi'igining. Like sage and sweetgrass. Cedar is used to purify the house. It also has many restorative medicine uses when mixed with sage or a tea. It cleanses the body of all infections. Cedar baths are also healing. When cedar mixed with tobacco is put in the fire, it crackles. This, this is said to call the attention for the spirits, maneduk, to the offering that is being made. Cedar is used in sweat lodges and fasting ceremonies for protection. Cedar branches cover the floor of many sweat lodges, and in some people make a circle of cedar when they are fasting. It is a guardian spirit and chases away the bad spirits. That's what they did when Little Don did his fast. They made a circle around the tree where he would sit, and you know, in that Gijik is from the north, or cedar. We have a lot of cedar. Botananawa, Gijik, and Daanama. We have lots here. Botananawa is lots. Gijik, Udaanama. We have a lot of cedar here. And that's what I used to say that my grandma, when we went to powwows, when we were little young girls, we had jingle dresses, and we'd put cedar in our moccasins before we went out to dance. A sama is red willow. It was such an honor to be asked for the information about tobacco. The couple of elders who wanted to pass on the tradition of the sama. There was an elder who taught about using the red willow branches and bark in making sama. He said they showed him the red willow on the sides of the roads and how it was collected. He also showed how to lightly scrape the red willow bark off the branches and, if possible, to let them dry. He said to also lightly scrape off the part right under the bark, and that is what we used to use for our tobacco, sama. It is dried naturally. It can be smoked like that. However, it can also be put in a pan and roasted in the oven for a bit, or put in a cast iron skillet and roasted that way. He he was advised to turn the shavings so that they do not scorch, or burn. Another elder who taught many people about the use of sama. She was raised by her grandparents when Anishinaabemoin was their first language. She would teach us many things about the language, how to prepare wild game, and the use of a sama. She said she was a young girl. She wanted to go out and play with her friends, but her grandma would make her stay in the house and talk Indian to her, to teach her. It is those teachings where the various stories about Nanabushu and how he helped the Anishinaabe learn about the life. He was sometimes very wise and sometimes very foolish. She would tell a story about how Sama was given to the Anishinaabe from the Red Willow as part of his journey and was remembering the teachings. A part of the journey was also trying to find that common ground so as to not offend anyone in sharing the Nanabushu story. He was a knowledge he was knowledgeable how there are limitations in which to share things based on traditional teachings. This is a long book.
Well, that's good.
Maybe I'll let George read it too. Then.
We can always break it up into parts. You can kind of mark your area, and then
Yeah.
we can come back to it.
Yeah, then the next part is he tells a sacred Indian story and
Mm-hmm.
tobacco story. There's
Where is that available from again? I think
It's
it's Great Lakes.
yeah. I
Just
think
want to give credit. So,
you'll have to look at it after.
oh, it's right in the back there.
Okay, Great Lakes Intertribal, Center. It's in.
And then who was the author again? I think they were right in
It
front.
was Isaiah Broken Leg and Elizabeth Torrens.
Okay,
It's a kind of a long book, but it's interesting.
cool.
Maybe George can get a few of them where people can come out here and check them out, and
Yeah, I think in our resource center, we're trying to develop a library. I know we've got probably 4 of those books available. So if anybody's interested, they can certainly give us a call or come on up to the station. That resource center is right in our lobby area, and we usually carry a lot of this material. And if you just have questions about it, we can certainly direct you to, to a source for these materials. And they're great. I mean, it's not specific, but it gives you an idea about, just the general knowledge, I guess, as far as our teachings or our knowledge about each of these items: the sage, the cedar, sweetgrass, and tobacco, asema. So good stuff, and we'll continue on with that at a later show.
Yeah, there's next one was how Sama was created
Mm-hmm.
in tobacco stories. I'll read that again, or
Yeah.
have somebody that.
Mm-hmm.
But I got this book here from Perry, and then there's another one. I got another book. It's called Asama. They're all about. This is mainly for kids.
Is that like a coloring book?
See, yeah.
Hold it up on this camera here in front of you. Yeah, there you go. So it's more like a coloring book, but it also has got some, like, tobacco is the first and foremost in everything. Everybody should carry tobacco. Growing up, we put tobacco out for different things. We put tobacco out for somebody, something, or for Creator to watch over us. This is how we communicate with the Creator. And that was a quote from Larry Smallwood, who was from the Mille Lacs community.
Yeah, and then there's all kinds of coloring books for kids. I mean, all things to color and
Oh, that's
read.
beautiful stuff.
And this is kind of has a lot of pages. And at the back, they draw a picture of. That would be good for elementary.
Right.
It says when you give tobacco, always give at least a pipeful.
Mm-hmm.
Always explain first why you are giving a person tobacco. Don't put it in their hand and say you want something. So be careful about giving and receiving tobacco. Like you have to, like when I give tobacco or somebody gives me tobacco, I make sure I'm up there right on time. And if you're not going to be there, you're not supposed to take the tobacco. You're supposed to just say, I have something else to do, but I can't.
Well, it really helps, because I know just through my life, education-wise, and having, different teachers, I know there was always an opportunity to ask, right? Mm-hmm. So as your teacher, you can always present your tobacco and then say, hey, I'd like to know more about this or more about that. Mm-hmm. In today's world, there's time that you have to consider, and so we have to try to make it to our next meeting or next class or something along those lines, and it always seems like it's never ending. So sometimes we say, well, I'll ask at a later date, and then we either forget or the resource is not available. So if you can, these materials here are really great sources for getting to that information in your own time, because there's a lot of stuff you just shared that I wasn't aware of, that relates to how one spirit of those four sacred items likes the other ones to be used. Yeah. So that was really insightful, and I'm going to read more about that. I didn't know anything like that, and I would really like to know what's behind that, and maybe I can find somebody that in my travels. I know there's a great resource that lives in actually there's many great resources in our community that you could ask, and you might not get, I don't want to say, you might get somebody that says, well, you know what, I was never really involved in that stuff, but I know they might know somebody that was,
Yeah.
like with my Uncle Jig, I didn't realize that his involvement and his knowledge as far as our culture went, and that was really when I visited with him, and I just was talking with him, and I wanted to start a conversation, because I think it was you that told me, who you could talk to. You could talk to Jig, and sadly, we lost him not long after that.
Yeah.
And so it's important that, these young people today, you get out there and you use your tobacco, go talk to your elders, talk to your parents, talk to your grandparents or great uncles and all them, find out, ask. And there's a lot of information that you can uncover, and that's knowledge that you can take along and share with your family.
Yeah. Maybe someday you'll even be a teacher with the language things that happen. They'll want to know what happened. Like these kids at Boys and Girls Club, they didn't know. They didn't really know. We didn't. I said we never had lights, a thing where we could just go flip a switch and the lights would come on and off, and they weren't. And I was told, my grandma always said, my mom, they always said, if people don't start using medicine, they're going to take it away.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's some medicines out there that you can't find. I still got all the big pages of medicine.
Well, that's like, dandelions, yeah, they have their own medicinal use, but that's a plant that wasn't here originally in North America.
Yeah.
It came from Europe. I think what they said is that it actually, people were using it as a medicine that came over on the like the Mayflower. They said it's probably when it came, and look how all over the place now. It just kind of took over, but they probably what do you call it? Pushed out some of the native plants that you're talking about. Like they're called an invasive species. And so I'm sure that happened in the plant world, just like out on the prairies. They talk about how, the cows, they were fed, whatever they were fed in Europe. And then when they got over here, they, they kind of brought the seeds of whatever that was. And that's what spread from the east to the west and took over a lot of that prairie land, And so a lot of them grasses, them original plant life they're not here no more, because the Western or Eastern European seeds and plants have taken over. They either choked them out or somehow found their way into being, and taken over the grasslands, just like the dandelions have taken over our yards here. So. So people, if you want to know about this stuff, I know there's probably, it'd be interesting to find out how many plants that we've lost like that.
Yeah, I know. I looked for that. We used to call him Jack something, Jack in a pulpit or puppet or something. In that plant, when we were kids, it looked like a little baby in a cradle. It had like a flap over the top, and we used to go pick them, and they were a medicine, but they were also good medicine. I don't see them nowhere. Over here, we used to have plums on Plum Island. It would be full. Your grandpa Louis used to go fill up pails of plums. Now, I don't know if anybody ever goes look on Plum Island.
Last time, which was about maybe 7 years ago,
there was nothing on.
Nothing.
But Gason is a plum Bagason Manis is Plum Island. And that's, we used to just like to eat them plums he would bring in the pails.
Well, I remember what was in the back of your area there. There was was that blackberries or choke cherries?
Choke cherries and pin cherries.
Yeah.
I still have a hazelnut bush that I go pick from before the Ajita will get them. I go pick hazelnuts and I showed them kids how to open them, peel them, and then crack them open with a little hammer or something. And but when the windstorm came, it took my choke cherry tree. Now I don't have a tree. Then there was down below there. I don't see them cranberries anymore. We had big bunch of cranberries. When Jig got when he was first married, his wife used to go down there and pick all them cranberries, and she'd make cranberry jam. Now there's, well, I don't walk in the woods anymore either, so I can't see.
Yeah.
Another thing I hear people talking about is a mother bear out there that has 5 babies.
Yeah. Right now, yep, you're talking.
I was thinking, well, there could be a lot of things. Maybe she had 2, or maybe she had 3, and then maybe the other 2 lost their mother. Maybe she adopted them, or because that's what they do. You know, just like I said, when say like my mother had a sister named Ruby. There was just 2 sisters, and when my mom got really sick, she couldn't bring me home. She was in the hospital, and Justin was born, and in 2 almost, you know, and she still had milk, so she took me in. Well, my mother was in the hospital for a couple months. She's almost dying, and my aunt took me in and she nursed me, and you know, till my mom got home, and then my mom took over then. But you know, they say that same thing a bear does. A bear, she finds a little cub that's abandoned, or his mother dies, or somebody shoots her, then another mother bear will take that little. And I was thinking, there's a lot of things that could. Maybe she took some kind of a what do you call them, that like they say they're feeding them dog food out there, and
oh, okay, yeah,
just some kind of ingredient that they put in food. Maybe they got a hold of some kind of a pills for her to have 5 babies.
Yeah, could be. I mean, you know, you look at some of the foods that that even humans are consuming.
Yeah.
Well, not only just getting sick, but there's a lot of hormones that are in the foods and stuff. You know, because you look at chickens, right? I mean, I don't think chickens ever had as much meat on them as they do. You know, you look at the packaging in your grocery store, and you know, I like the smaller ones. They seem a little bit juicier. You know, so I'll pick up like a whole chicken versus the breast or the thighs and that type of meat. You know, but yeah, I think there's I don't know. Like I said, just the smaller one. I think they taste a little bit better, and they might be pumped up with something. You know what I mean? They might not call it a hormone, but there's something in them that they're getting more. You know, getting them things to grow more bigger, I guess.
Yeah, like there's long time ago we never had hot dogs or bacon, or you know, we just were, when I was a kid, that's all they ate was wild meat, deer, you know, all that. My grandma was stingy with the lard she had, you know, but then, you know, they start getting commods and everybody start getting really sick, you know, eating different ways. And
yeah, well, that's what I look at, especially down south, like where my mother's from. There's a lot of fast food that came into the reservation. I mean, everybody looks at it like it's progress, right? But
Mm-hmm.
that diet really doesn't agree with Native people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it's created a diabetes situation problem. You know, some of these tribes that were in a feast and famine situation. You know, now we're living in a time where it's all feast.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
all
so
sweet stuff.
oh, that too. I mean, it's just it bugs
Huh.
me. I think I was telling you last week or a week before about the donut. You know, it's like how much more can you put on a donut? You know what I mean? It's already got enough sugar in it, and then you got to put frosting on it and
Yes.
sprinkles, and it's crazy. So yeah, I mean, we have to be careful, you know, and kind of remember, you know, that we're not that far away from, you know, our traditional way of eating and our diet and stuff. So we got to make this. I don't know. I guess it's a transition, you know, and watch what we eat, or at least try to include more of the traditional foods that we have, you know, especially the wild rice, and why we have to take care of that lake, because that was a big source of sustenance, you know, that carried us through, and you know, just kind of provided a variety of in our diet.
I know. I know. I when you get old, you like sweets. Everything you want to eat sweet stuff
Mhm.
all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was drinking quite a bit pop, and I quit drinking pop. You know, and my sugar went down quite a bit. From my diabetes. And when if I see a piece of cake, I take the frosting off the top and I eat it just like that. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, there's a lot of stuff like, okay, there's so much asabikone,
Yeah.
you know, that people are dying from,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, and that's there has to be a cure out there for
Well,
some.
like they say, for every ailment there is a uh, cure,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So we just need to, I don't know, get back to our ways, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's where I think a lot of that came from. I don't think somebody just went out there and started eating dandelions, you know.
Yeah. And
uh,
another thing, you know, there's 4 races. They're all different. You know,
well,
they
yeah,
eat different. You know,
yep. There's
like
some.
I don't like any kind of foods from like seaweed or the other
Oh yeah,
Alaskan Indians
yeah.
eat seaweed.
Oh yeah.
They try to give me some.
Uh-huh.
How, you know, then they must say the same thing with our food.
Yeah.
How can you eat fish and deer meat and
Oh yeah.
dog and all that? You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. That's what my buddy. I just saw him 2 3 weeks ago at a conference, and Peter Tulik. He's up from Alaska, and he comes down here. He does some hunting, right? He says he goes to Two Harbors, but always inviting me up to go up to his village up there in Alaska, and he always talks about the salmon and you know all of that there, and of course the big thing there is the fish oil, and that part of their diet, and I would probably say it's evident, you know, like him. I don't know how old he is, but he looks kind of old, you know, but he gets around really good, you know. So yeah, I would probably even say he could. Well, he's still active. He's still yeah. So he's out there doing the fishing. He's out there doing whatever it is that he's always done outdoors, and so I mean, there's benefits all over the place, right? So if you, I mean, I tried to take what was it, fish oil tablets one time. Oh, I couldn't stand that. Yeah. So it just wasn't, you know what I mean? Part of
Part of
the way my body works, you know. So yeah, it wasn't something, but at least I tried it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like that's what JS used to do when we were kids. He'd give everybody, your dad, Roger, no, all of us. We have to stand in a line, and he'd give us a tablespoon of cod liver oil.
What?
And oh, that was awful. And every day he would give us, he took masari. Well, we'd puke it up sometime, and
Yeah.
we'd have to take it over again until he, that Squeak thought he was mean. And he was just trying to look after us, and
Yeah. I suppose he learned it maybe in the service.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because I know they got to travel,
Yeah.
and see other cultures and stuff. So
Yeah.
I bet you that's probably what it was. And,
Yeah.
and of course, meet a lot of people, right?
They used to have a Watkins man come here every once a month. He had an old big van, and he'd sell all kinds of salve and everything. And he sold some, like, you add like a cup of water, then with some a tablespoon of red, like Kool-Aid, and it would make your Kool-Aid. And but then that was really getting sweet. That was sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandma would hardly want to buy that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, it gets you hooked.
Mm,
I always tease my niece and her kids because they just love sugar.
mm-hmm.
And I remember when she was I don't know, maybe about 8 years old,
Mm-hmm.
just how much sugar that she could use
Mm-hmm.
just in a short amount of time. And so it was crazy because I tell her stories now about how she'd be running around the house just not even knowing what she was doing almost,
Mm-hmm.
running from one end to the other, and being rambunctious, and just
Mm-hmm.
so much of that
Yeah.
sugar just going through her that her body didn't know what, had to deal with it, and I think it affected her mind because she's
Mhm.
still, even though she's probably 30, 31, somewhere around there,
Mm-hmm.
she's still after that sugar,
Mm-hmm.
and it's crazy how you can drink pop just like nothing,
Yeah.
So
Sweet.
keep an eye on your sugar intake, and I caution that only because of the diabetes thing. So I'm constantly warning people about that.
I use that old equal, but I don't know.
Mm.
They say that ain't good either.
Yeah.
But I use it anyway.
Well, that's the way I am right now too, and I just follow my doctor's recommendations, as far as what I should and shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
eat or
Yeah.
drink or, So, well, let's take a break.
Okay.
Yeah. Freshen up our coffee and our tea. In the meantime, I'm going to give you an update on all this weather and events that are happening here in the community. And let's see, we're going to start off with the weather. your radio show here. And yeah, so did you freshen up your knee beach?
Yeah, me also nagimini bish. I said I already drank my tea. Me also ni minikweni bish. We just went and talked with Darren for a while, and Anthony was giving him some, talking to him about some ideas he had, which he's going to talk with George later on.
Good.
He's got some young ideas there. Nice.
Well, that's
Good
always.
to have young people
Oh yeah.
in the midst of older people, you know.
Yeah, and it's good to have them older people around too, like old Darren. I keep telling him, I said, Karen's missing you. I said,
yeah, where is he? Where is he Tuesday or Thursdays?
Yeah, so hopefully he gets around here a little bit more, you know, and yeah, so it's always good to get these ideas rolling. Anyhow, I'm gonna let you go on with your show. I gotta take my little break here.
Okay. Well, another thing I took and showed them the books that Harry loaned me. I have George order some books and have maybe show Bejan. He probably has some books already. There's a nice coloring book for the Benujiak kids. Benujiak. Yeah, I'm glad. Well, the only one that ain't here today is Geraldo or Rolando or whoever. I can never get his name. But it's good to have all the people back and wishing Marty a good recovery. Hope he gets well and can come back and be talking with us and stuff. But since he's home and healing at home, I'm happy for him that he's healing. But Minoya, that means get better. Minoya. But there's a lot of things I was going to talk about, and it's the spring. Time to go out and look for mishkiki. But I rode through the swamp a couple times, and I said, you know, where I used to pick that medicine in the swamp, it don't even look like there's any. Maybe they took it away. But I can't walk over there. I can't. I can go find my medicine behind the Jean's camp there where he did his manomanikin, kapisige, his parching and kapisige. There's some right there I gotta go and pick. Have somebody. I can't do it anymore. We want to thank Frank Bardo for bringing me some cedar this morning. Gishiko Gibina. Frank. I said cedar he brought. Gibinik bought me some cedar. I can fresh. It's fresh. I can when I Jaboniki Nagiwe and I can go boil some, make it smell good in my wakaikan, ni wakaikan or ni andan. That's my home is anda and my house is ni wakaikan. But I was gonna go through some, you know, it's good I guess to go through words, but you gotta learn how to do sentences, not just one word like honor him, apite min, honor him. These are prayer words. Apite min, apite min, Then when you get to know it, you can just say apitemen. Ani na gigabi apitemen. When are you gonna honor him? That's a whole sentences. Ani na apitemen away nini. When are you gonna honor that man? You can keep adding, but you use apitemen. Honor him. Wabang niga apitemen away. Kiwezi. Tomorrow we'll honor that man. Away Kiwezi. And Boggy De Nishin is forgive me. Boggy De Nishin. Boggy De Nishin. Nishin. Boggy De Nishin. Gida Gida, you should forgive me. Gida Boggy De Nishin. You should forgive me. Gida Boggy De Nishin. Forgive us. Boggy De Ni Shimun. Forgive us. Boggy De Ni Mishimun. These are such long words. It has 3, 6, 9, 12, 21 letters for in forgive us. Boggy De Ni Mishimun. Mishimun on the end. And on forgive me is just shin. Boggy De Nishin. And Boggy De Ni Mishimun is forgive us. That I think that's why it's so hard for people to learn, because they see the big word and they say, "Oh, I can't even pronounce that. What's the use?"
You know what? Just my observation on some of that, the pronunciation. I think, like when I started, reading like how things are spelt out, it looks like a big long word, but if you break it down and just go over it a couple times in your head, like you'll find out where the breaks are. Like with you probably know exactly what each part means. But for us, especially when you're first learning, like what do they always talk about, blueberry pie? Like that word is a description of how it's made. So it was always a thing saying, yeah, well, try saying blueberry pie, or try to say or spell it out. And so that's a kind of a daunting thing too. But even with a word like niwabama, something like that, where I see something, or that's like ni wa ba ma, and you're always talking like that. Like you just put these words together. But people need to know, or at least they need to look at it, like how to break it up, and then sometimes like I don't know. There's a lot of things that I've run into where I gotta roll it in my head a couple times before I figure it out, the way, because it does sound right. You know what I mean? Because it sounds wrong when you first try to say it and you don't know where the little breaks are. But then once you figure out, you're like, oh, that's how it goes, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're sounding, really cool.
It's sounding like a dialect.
Yeah. So, for learners out there, don't give up if a word is, I don't know, maybe 14 letters long, or with a little stress or stop thing at the top. That's where your break is. Like the one I always think of is that one that zaagi'igining. Like where's the break in that? And so somebody might say zaagi'igining, or, you know, if they just look at it the first time.
Yeah.
So that's where something like this helps if people figure it out, like how it actually breaks down zaagi'igining, you know. So I would have spelled it different, you know, when I see it, how it's posted. And that just, for everybody listening out there, that's just he or she goes to what is it? Is it actually that they're going number 2, or no, they're going number 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zaagi'igining.
He or she is going number 1. So that's.
Or can I? Or else they say, "Can I go to the bathroom?" Meaning the bathroom. Zaagi'igining. Or I want to go outside or go bathroom. Zaagi'igining.
So could you say zaagi'igining weegamik?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the toilet.
Okay.
Nigi, how do you say, can I go Nigi Maja, zaagi'igining, what did you say?
Zaagi'igining weegamik?
Yeah, bathroom. Yeah, at least like some words you can just, if you know your eating utensils, like wash your dishes, a noggin. Cup is a nagas, you know, like zaagi'igining, that's wash dishes. You can see like a ZB, you know, then they just put zaagi'igining, noggin, ne, that means washing dishes. Like ZB, you know, zaagi'igining. You know, it's just like, but you gotta know all your eating utensils, like your amquanes, your spoon, your zaagi'igining, your fork. See, like badak is something sharp, like forks. Zaagi'igining, you know, and like when they say they're gonna go, the doctor's gonna give them a shot. They say zaagi'igining. They're picking you.
Oh, okay.
Zaagi'igining.
Yeah, see, little tidbits of meaning really help, you know, because then we can, like, you know what did that for me? When you help us put these signs up for makuk. It's like a box, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So anytime I think of something like that, if it's a radio or a telephone, you know,
or a basket,
I always think that it sticks in my mind. That's makuk.
like birch bark, you know, wigawasi makuk, that's a birch bark basket.
Yeah.
Then wigawas is birch bark. Wigawas mitig is a birch tree. Wigawas mitig is, you know, so there's, you can kind of figure them out if you know, like say you know all your directions. Wabanung, shawanung, nikabi inung, giwe dinung. You know, you gotta, then you will know how to put them together with different directions, you know. Wabang is morning, starts in the morning. Wabang, wabanung. Then south, shawanung. And then Nigabi inung. Then at the last one is nighttime. Giwe dinung, like giwe, we're going home. You know, we're gonna go to sleep, but you know, you could see giwe. Like Andi Gidishan, where are you going? You could say Nigiwe Min. We're going home, Nigiwe Min, and you could say, you could see Giwe in there, Giwe Dinung.
That helps too. Giwe.
Yeah.
Going home.
Yeah.
Nice.
Andi Eshayan. Oh, you say Nigiwe Min, we're going home. Andi Gimama. Oh, Ami Ashan Nigiwe. She already went home. Yasha Nigiwe.
Nigiwe.
Yeah. But there's a lot of words there. And I think, you know, once you start, like, I try to tell people, if you get stuck with words, give me a call,
Mm-hmm.
Give me a call. Nobody will call me,
What's your number again?
218-750-7268.
All right. And then they can reach out to you on Facebook too?
Yeah, they can reach out to me on Facebook. Just like this girl, this morning, that's my cousin Ruth. Ruth Strong, her name was. That was Bob Strong's daughter. I know she had a daughter named Robin, and she asked me on Facebook, "Are you my mother's sister?" Well, well, my mother, Annie Strong, and Ruth were sisters, and I used to go visit Ruth all the time in Hibbing, because that's where she lived. I was really close with Ruth, and one of my Bob Strong's daughters, and but no, there's, I think there's only Betty and Dorothy left, the Strong girls,
Mm-hmm.
Bob Strong's daughters, and that was our Grandpa George's half brother.
Yeah.
Bob, and yeah, and then I text her back. I said, "Oh, you're Ruth's daughter, Robin."
Mm-hmm.
Then she had a boy named. He had a nickname, but his name I think his name was Robert. Then there was another girl. I think she Ginebo away. She died. Ginebo. But what's his name? His mother is still alive. Her name is Betty. Betty Strong. Then Dorothy lived right across the school there. Uh, the school. One of our older elders in their 80s.
And that was Cash's sister?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So there's. Oh, then there's Junie. Junie and Edith. They called her Shauna. So there's four of them left, four sisters.
Mm.
Junie, Edith, Betty, and Dorothy. Because they had a family of 12 kids when they.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they had 12. Nee Johnsug. That's how you could say kids too. Nee Johnsug. My kids, Nini Johnsug. Nee Gidan, Nanan. Nee, I had 5. Basic, Nikusisogi, Nibo.
I
One
heard
of my sons died.
Nashkibanese use that Nijansuk
Yeah.
word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or then my son, Nikosis, you can use, Nikosis, my son. Adonis, my daughter. There's just a lot of ways to use relatives. My aunt, my my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, my wife, my husband, Newil, Ninabem, you know. But there's so many. Gigago Nigiji Taminoma. I said we're almost done here. Gigago Nigiji Tayukoma. Gigago is almost.
Gigayo?
Gigago.
Gigago. Gigago Nawakwe.
Yeah. Gigago Nigiji Tamin. That means we're almost done. Gigiji Tamin. Gigago.
Gigago Nawakwe. That's what I was saying. It's almost lunch.
Noon.
Almost noon.
Or lunch.
Speaking of that, I'm going to let everybody know there's a special over at the C-store.
Tawekamik.
Yep. And they said it's Timberline style chili and homemade fry bread. Wow. So you can go check that out. Call them up there. See what the price is. Looks pretty good anyway. If it's Chilean fry bread.
Is it Fred bread?
It might be Fred bread. I don't know.
I
Maybe
gotta
it's,
buy. I gotta go buy some.
Maybe it's chesty bread. No.
Chesty made it.
Yeah. We'll see. I know I'm gonna check it out. Well, anyway, we're just about done here.
Gigawabamin.
Yeah, Gigawabamin Neo Gijgut. Nij. Jesus. Is that how you say it? 2 days?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Nijo Gijgut. 2 days.
All right. You guys all have a great day. We'll see you on Thursday.
Give me a call.
Yeah, call her with any questions.
Gidanunik. That means you should call me. Gidanunik.